Video. Um, I tested out a few different things for possible base improvements for people who are getting raided or solo players or whatever. There's quite a few that I think are going to be very, very powerful, and I don't know exactly how I want to do it in the base yet, but I don't see why more people haven't been using what I figured out today. It seems to me that more people would be, and it does make a little bit more sense now that I think about it. How some bases are just left open, and I always thought they were rated, but they actually weren't. But this is going to be kind of the starter pack of why survival is a rating skill. And you might not necessarily have to agree with what I'm saying, but I'm going to go ahead and try and show as much as I can that you don't necessarily need the survival to make this work, but survival and engineering do have benefits when it comes to rating. One of the first things is that you can craft ammo and such. So we can cut down these trees and we can process these faster. You can make clubs and stuff for your team if you needed to actually go into melee and you don't have any access to weapons. You can go and like cut down these trees and then cut down branches and start making arrows or spears or whatever your team needs fairly quickly. Okay, so this is just a couple of the basic things. But what I'm going to try and suggest for people is pretty much like any other survival game. Everyone has problems with doing basic stuff. All right, like they go raid, and they want to raid, so they go and they shoot walls, and it's always like there's always like an Overwatch guy or no Overwatch guy, and then there's people just standing there either trying to blow up walls or punch walls or shoot walls, and there's no actual strategy to it. So what I'm going to kind of suggest here is I'm gonna use this cross as like a representation for some stuff here. So we're gonna put on a couple crosses. And I don't expect everyone to go read like Art of War or anything, right? But I think we can spice up the raids a little bit. So there's two things. One of these is going to be an offensive thing, and one of these is going to be a defensive thing. But you can kind of use this both ways. First off, a lot of people have landmines outside of their base, and that's what this cross is representing right now. Okay? So a lot of people keep landmines around the outside of their base and bushes and things like that, and that's fine. But landmines are a one-use item, all right? And although they do make you respawn, these spike traps and everything else, these are single use. Or not single use. They are multiple uses. They have to be destroyed. So if someone walks or crouch walks into these, they're probably going to die or be very injured. All right. They have to physically destroy this, so they're going to have to take time to attack it, which is going to give you like a noise cue if you're in the area or something like that. So these spike traps are very convenient and cheap to make, and honestly, I don't see why more people don't layer these. Now, when it comes to mines, I don't think that you should put mines on the outside of your base, or at least put out an exterior wall around your mines and then have a kind of kill zone in between your two wall layers. Because this right here, I think can be kind of abused. So one of the big things that happens with base raids is like the team will come in, they'll start attacking a wall or lock-picking doors, and if there's an opposing team in here, they tend to float towards that team and find cheeky angles to shoot you and do whatever, right? So what I suggest is you need to try and work on diversions and things. You don't need to just directly attack a wall and just fully commit on one wall. You could possibly use crossbows or normal bows to kind of pretend like you're going to try and take down a wall piece in the very front, not really worry about lockpicking so much because lockpicking could be a danger to you. So, and try and draw their attention to you. Don't use your most powerful equipment at the very beginning of a raid. Okay, I think you save that for the crunch time. So after you get past the outer walls, Then you come in. Maybe you use C4 if they have like cement walls or whatever, but it shouldn't be a big deal. So what I'm going to show here is that, say you're an attacker going to attack this base. Y'all guys can go and instead of having your car out in the open or something for a counterattack, you can put down a flag or whatever you want to do and build a mock raiding base. Just something very simple. Alright, you could use it for a spawn point if you want. You could use it to store your car if you want. Alright. And this isn't going to be the biggest thing in the world right here. You can even go like put it on a hill or something in the distance because people haven't been putting flags around their base, so they're not controlling the land around their base. But you can build a tower up in here and possibly get a cheeky angle to shoot down at the base over there. And your Overwatch will have an area that he can respawn or go and look or whatever. Like if he dies in here, there's a door and it's locked. So they're going to have to leave the base, try to go over here and lock this door and raid your base. And this is just a cheap wall. A lot of times people who have bases, they try to defend the base. They don't try to raid your base. So they're probably not going to leave. And they're probably not going to have the gear for a base raid and try to break into even these basic walls here. Okay? And then you can be shooting bows or arrows or crossbows or whatever at their wall and damaging it over time. Now, what you're looking at my character here, say that you're going to start a base raid. You could use smoke grenades or whatever you want, or maybe you just have a little bit of spare time. You can carry, this guy has no engineering, so it'll be cheaper later, but you can carry, I believe this is 12 planks, and this is like 25 sticks. So y'all could run up here and get to the base. And build yourself some fortifications, some walls. Now, you don't have to bring them in a backpack and stand here. You could simply pull a bunch of sticks in here, run up here and place the sticks, and then put the planks in here, and then run up here and place planks. That's up to you. But all I'm saying is that you could run up here, wherever the border of their base is, and build yourself some cover. So now you have a wooden palisade that's able to block some bullets for you or help you get back to the base. And what this does is it gives you cover to approach the base without getting shot. Alright? And a lot of bases, like you probably won't get this close, but a lot of bases, like their borders will come out to like over here somewhere. Okay? And this is going to be twofold. One, it gives you cover. Okay? Two, it allows you to safely attack their base at range with ranged weapons and not have to worry so much. And three, it causes a distraction. It's a little bit slower on the entry, but you're drawing their attention to this side of the base, and they're going to think that you're posting up and trying to raid this side of their base. And now you can see a lot of people have landmines outside of the base. So now what you can do is have someone else on your team, not necessarily go for kills or anything, but have a metal detector or whatever, and slowly sweep the back side of the base wherever you're not attacking, and pick up all these landmines, which you can use to break down their walls. So you can use their own explosives against their wall to help you break in. And then once this is pretty much done, this could be your demo guy. He places a couple C4s in the back or whatever, detonates it, and boom. Now you got a big gap that's rushing in. Now they got to decide if they want to defend the back half of the base or the front half of the base. So they'll probably start going to the back half of the base, and then these guys can reposition or whatever. But I think we're really missing an opportunity to change up the base raiding scene when we have options to build bases wherever you want in multiple areas as well. So being able to go and build these walls super quickly, just on kind of the outskirts or whatever, gives you a lot of protection here approaching the base. They're not going to be able to snipe you as you're coming through, and if you die, your body's going to be behind cover. so it won't be so bad. And even if this is way back here, that's still better than nothing. And then you can have a temporary base not too far away that allows you to get some elevation and look down, or kind of have some sort of strong point to fight their base with. Some sort of back defense that you can do here. And so like when you offline raid or whatever, if you have some people with survival skill or something, just go and cut down a bunch of trees. People cut down trees anyway when they raid. And then build up some fortifications around the base. Now you can also use this as a type of funnel. So say you're going to raid a base, and you go and chop down a bunch of trees or whatever, and you build a wall. Just like around their border. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged wall. It doesn't have to be 100% fully covered. I'm just doing this for speed. You can just use the actual like poles or whatever to kind of make this happen. But you can go around the outside of the base, wherever the border is, and build walls. Now, you might be thinking that this is kind of pointless, but here's my thinking on this, okay? People who defend bases or get attacked by bases tend to bring ranged weapons, bows, crossbows, other things. But a lot of them don't really pack extra melee weapons in their kits. So this gives you the opportunity to force them to not being able to get through this. Even if there isn't a flag in this area, which you could build flags if you wanted to, but even if there isn't, they have to have a melee weapon to break down this wall. Okay? Which is fine, but a lot of them don't have one, so they're going to have to craft one, and they don't have survival skill. It's going to take them a little bit. And then, even if they do break down this wall, if you are already inside their base area, and you know that this wall is built around them, you can see where they break through. You know where they're at. So they have to break down multiple wall sections to try and confuse you, but it buys you more time. And if they don't, then they're going to either be stuck outside, or they're going to have to find a gap to come through, which funnels them into wherever you're trying to go. Right? And it basically turns this into a castle siege, where you could go wherever the borders are here if you really wanted to, and build towers and stuff on the outside, and completely surround their base and lock them in. And then if they want to get in, they're going to have to come from behind, and if they want to get out, they're going to have to fight their way out. And you can put double walls on both sides. You could seal yourself in and then use this as a exit. Now, if you fail the raid, it's very possible that your enemies could put flags down and try to claim all these walls, which is a big one. So you probably want to put some flags down. But in the temporary side, these are not that expensive to build. And if you have survival skill, you can gather these materials really quickly. And if you have survival and engineering, which this character doesn't right now, like even this max distance wall or whatever, 80 sticks and 40 planks, I mean, you can cut these down really quick and go right into it at the very beginning of the game. This is right here, that is like 16 planks or something. So like 3 trees or something like that. And boom, you have this built. But I think it just has a little bit more power than people give it credit for. And I think these are a couple things that people need to think about when they're actually raiding. Like, these are options that you can have, that if you want to do an extended raid or something. Because it doesn't take even that much to craft a flag, and even though you might not cover the whole area, it does funnel them in. Alright? So like you can't build any flag here because we already have a flag in their base zone over there. It's on the road. So you can pop flags down over here, and it's going to be wide. Now, even if you don't fully surround their base, you can cut off 3/4 of it, and then they're going to be forced to approach the base on 1/2 of their base size, which means that you don't really have to watch your back so much as long as you can put a wall up here. So you put a flag, you look at the flag radius, you see that it goes all the way up there, and then you build a wall along here, which gives you something to put your back against. So if you ever played a Battle Royale or any sort of game like that, or Call of Duty with confined maps, you're basically making a map border around their base, which is going to help you to win gunfights. Anyway, that's the quick video I wanted to make today, just kind of discussing a little bit of stuff you could do with survival skill with base rates and things. So hopefully, I mean, that gives you some sort of ideas that you can use. Maybe take a little bit of like inspiration from history, castle sieges, or anything like that. And I think it would be, you know, pretty nice little thing to spice up the game. A lot of people just don't really do it, and I mean, it wouldn't be necessary for the most part, but like maybe a mega tribe base or something, you could surround it and kind of lock them in place so they can't use all their equipment. That could be pretty nice. But I'm gonna hop off on here real quick.